Okay, how come this
Don't worry. She's got help.
made people cringe, but this made fans go wild? Well, today on my channel, I'm going to talk to you guys why The Boys Season 2's beating of Stormfront worked, and the bring about of the A-Force in Avengers Endgame did not work. Now, before I get started, let me disclose this right now. I am a born, bred comic book fan. I've loved comics for as long as I can remember. I am a major MCU fan / Marvel Comics fan, and I've grown to love The Boys from the very first episode when it aired on Amazon Prime. Now, with that out of the way, I think everybody can tell that both of these scenes, to the core, have the same purpose. They're both there, in a sense, for badass female representation / spotlight in both of these, in this show and in this film. The only problem here is that one of these scenes was marvelous, and the other one was cringy and forced. I think you know where I'm going with this and why. If you remember correctly, if you've seen Avengers Endgame, it was the biggest battle scene in any superhero movie, in any movie, period, I feel. In anything ever relating to a fight scene. It was pure nostalgia. Everyone was screaming in the theaters, seeing all these heroes on this massive battlefield, all going at it with someone head to head. Everyone had their hands full. No one was letting up. Everybody was attacking somebody or being attacked themselves, trying to run or fight, you name it, they were doing it. But then out of nowhere, while Peter's running through the battlefield, trying to get the gauntlet out of there, Carol Danvers shows up, which is totally understandable. She's the strongest one. It makes sense for her character to be the one to possess the gauntlet so that she can keep it away from everybody. Because who better to hold on to it than the strongest person on the battlefield? But the problem is, in this massive battlefield where everyone has their eyes set on what's in front of them via Chitauri's, the children of Thanos, all of that, etc. Out of nowhere, they somehow all have the perfect positions to meet up and be there the very second that Carol takes the gauntlet from Peter. Now, you can argue that, everyone's keeping an eye on the gauntlet, so they saw Carol had it, and that's that. There's no coincidence here. But think about it. I guess everyone's keeping their eye on it, but what stopped Black Panther from getting there? What stopped Thor from flying in and clearing the path for Danvers to fly away? I swear, at this point, it feels so forced. It's right there in your face. Now, I'm not a very political person. I don't like to get into that whole, feminist, feminazi or feminist movements, whatever you want to call it. All that stuff. But it's so obvious here that Disney told the directors, the Russo brothers or somebody, we need to show, that we support female representation and female-led movies. Because we all know, we were all fighting for years to see a Black Widow film. I myself included. I have loved her since she joined Iron Man 2, and I've known about her character since I was a kid, and I've always wanted to see a spy Black Widow film. And when we finally found out that she was signed on for one, I was jumping up and down in my seat from that. I was so excited. But now, it seems like they really want to go all in and show, no, yes, we support everybody. We're here for all of you. Non-stop, we're here. See, look, the A-Force is going to happen. there's a right way of doing this, and there's a wrong way of doing this. In a massive battlefield like this, to see all the female characters of the MCU, all the main female characters, from Scarlet Witch to Carol Danvers, the Wasp, etc., all those heroes, to have them all just come together for that one scene. Don't worry, she's got help. And they all show up. It's just a big smack in the face of, yes, we are showing the women. This is the women's moment. And I get it. I get why Disney's doing it. They don't want to seem quote unquote sexist. They don't want to trigger anybody. But you know what? I guarantee there were feminists who were on here, like those hardcore feminists where, they believe in every little tidbit is a form of being sexist. Even they were probably like, yeah, that's just blatantly obvious. They're trying to just make us happy with a cheesy forced scene. It was just very underwhelming. Like I said, it was the cringiest scene of the film. Unlike, I don't know about anybody else watching this, but I was one of those people that went to the midnight release for Endgame, and we were all screaming at every little thing that happened on screen. And I'll be honest, when that scene showed up, yes, there were people screaming, but I gotta say, of all the major scenes where everybody was screaming in excitement, that was the quietest one. That was hands down the quietest one. Not because of, all the men in the room or whatever reason. It just was so cringy. It didn't feel like an earned badass moment for like the women of the MCU. It really didn't. When you watch The Boys, however, when you see Starlight and them when you see them all just kind of start kicking the crap out of Stormfront, it's just awesome. It's just them getting raw in there. It looks like Stormfront's about to win. She gets stopped, punched in the face, kicked to the ground. I'm brain farting on her name. I believe it was Kyoko, or it's not Kyoko, but I have to write these down. I never write these down. I'm brain farting on her name right now, but she snaps her neck back into place, which gave me an adrenaline rush. Like, she is unkillable and she is mad. Starlight comes in. They all just start punching her, running through her. Then they start kicking the crap out of her with that amazing song in the background. And you just think, yeah, this is the ladies' moment right here. It was so much better choreographed, and because it was raw. It was they weren't in a giant battlefield where anyone can get lost. No, there are plenty of people that could have showed up to help, but they would have been too busy realistically. In The Boys, these people are all in an open field about to be vaporized by Stormfront. So it was only clear that this could make sense. This was perfectly done. Again, I'm not the kind of person, I'm not, crazy on politics. I'm all about equality. I'm all for it with men, women, and everybody. But that scene of Endgame was just the cringiest thing I've ever seen in not my life, I'm not going to exaggerate, but in that film, it was the cringiest part of the film. But the final fight with Stormfront and the girls in the final episode of The Boys, that was hands down a top 5 scene moment in the show, in all fights, in everything relating to The Boys. It's a top 5 moment that personally, I think will go down even after season 3 and how many more seasons they make. It will always be seen as just one of the best moments because it's raw. It doesn't feel like it's a superhero thing. It's just like, yeah, Stormfront is horrible. It only makes sense that you've been wanting all these girls, or anybody really, but it just made it so much better that all these women in the series, all 3 of them, just came at her and kicked the living garbage out of her, kicked the garbage out of her mouth, sitting there manipulating everybody throughout the show, driving everybody wild with threats, killing people. Her whole character was atrocious in a good way, in the sense that you hated her for her reasons, not her acting. It's not her acting ability, none of that, not her looks. It was the way the character is made. You're supposed to hate her, and it is so perfectly done. You hate every fiber of that woman. You don't trust anything about her, and no, not even the quote unquote sad part of her life about never aging and seeing her daughter die and everyone around her dying. You don't feel bad at all. You just think, no, I hope someone kicks the crap out of you. And thank God they did it right and had all three women from the show kick the living crap out of Stormfront. And then, of course, we all know Homelander's son finishes her off with vaporizing her into basically an overcooked ham. But yeah, gotta say that was hands down. It's just an adrenaline pumping scene. Everything about it, from the choreography to the music to the camera shots, all of it is just such a beautifully done fight scene. It's hands down amazing. There's no crazy martial arts in it. It's just a girl, it's just a bad guy getting her ass kicked, and everyone is just cheering them on in excitement. Now, I know not a lot of people are going to agree with me. I'm sure plenty of people are going to say that the A-Force tease was an amazing part of the film to show more things to come. But personally, I believe this whole A-Force thing has a long way to go before it happens. I mean, we do have things like She-Hulk. We have characters like She-Hulk coming in, Miss Marvel coming in soon too. So it's going to be a little while before we even have an A-Force film, or if it's going to be a Disney Plus series. We don't know yet. But I gotta say, I mean, drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you guys think? What do you agree? Did you cringe when you watched that scene? Did you think it was a fantastic scene, or were you indifferent? Personally, a lot of people I know, and I know a lot of other platforms when this movie came out, did not like it. They all said it was, a majority of people I've seen said it was forced, it was cringy, it just wasn't earned. Whereas when you watch the scene with the boys, a lot of us are like me, because adrenaline pumping, so excited, loved every second of it, and hell, rewatched it continuously because it's that awesome. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let's have a conversation. Maybe one of you can prove me wrong for whoever's watching. If you guys made it to this far in the end of the video, I love you guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video.